Hi everyone, got a special guest here today, my good friend Naseer Pasha. He is the creator and animator of Legend of Dragon Ball Tale, which is the amazing Dragon Ball fan project that came out recently and it set the entire YouTube alight. How many views has it got now, Naz, roughly?
I haven't checked for a while. 10 million or something like that.
Nice. Yeah, so it went like wildfire, and I'm sure you've all seen it. If you haven't, I'll drop a link below, and you need to go and watch it multiple times. So what we're going to do today is Naz has very kindly provided us with the storyboard pass, the animatic pass of the storyboards, some animation progress versions, and then the final version, and a couple of little extras as well. So we can kind of talk about the creative process of making something like this. We can talk about all the considerations that go into the storyboard side of it, the animatic side of it, the animation side of it, and the various phases. So Naz, do you want to tell us a little bit, just a broad kind of how the project came to be and how long it took?
Yeah, there's nothing like that's too out of the ordinary. It was just something I wanted to do for a while. I was watching Dragon Ball Super, like to the end of it, and like Vegeta still was almost really sick, and then eventually they kind of just put him out of the game, and I said, okay, I'm gonna finally make my own Vegeta fan film. But I was doing a choreography, who would I make him fight? Obviously Broly is gonna be it'll be the sickest fight because he was treated like such a sucker in the first movie. But just like the storyteller in me, I couldn't just make a choreography for a fight scene. It just seemed like a waste of my energy, because all you got was something flashy. So I did a small backstory for it, and then I reworked it quite a few times. But it was very simple. I like telling really simple stories and just delivering on something simple. And it might seem complicated when people are looking at all these references, but those are Easter eggs. Those are icing that just it builds off of something very clean and small. So I wrote it, and then I just started. I was training with Giuseppe one night, and then we were drawing all night, and then we did some hapkido. And the next morning, I had done this sketch of King Vegeta in a cape. I'm like, oh, this is what he'll look like. He'll be a king. And then I did a bunch of beat boards at his house that one day, and then they're all scenes. They're all completely out of order. They're just scenes I know I would like to see. So that's the choreographer getting satisfied. That's not the storyteller being satisfied. And then my screenplay was maybe about one paragraph. So and then from there I melded that back into my beat boards, and then I just worked from there. So to answer the other part of your question, you said how long did it take and stuff. So I spent maybe a few weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, just building those parts and then doing some designs. And then it took me a total of 3 months to make that first trailer. So I spent the first 29 days, and I know it was 29 days because Storyboard Pro only had a 29-day
trial. Oh, you did it on trial.
Yeah, that was before I actually got it. And I remember asking you about it, and you're like, oh, you know what? There's this thing that if I log on and then you log on at the same time, but I don't log off my computer, you can keep.
Oh yeah, I remember that trick.
I remember, oh, thank you. So I was thinking of doing it, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to screw up his files or anything like that, or his account getting banned or something. So I got this trial, and I made sure to use it for 29 days and get the project done. But the joke was that
what a brilliant way to give yourself a ridiculously it's like a bomb that's going to go off if you don't finish.
Literally, dude, the project is gone and unaccessible if I don't invest in this $1,700 program. Which the joke's on me is the very next day I bought it, but not because I ran out of time, because I finished it on time. I finished it one day early, actually, on the 29th day of the trial. I'm like, this is the best software I've ever used. It's going to pay for itself the moment I get my next board gig. So I bought it. And then
did you actually do the did you get the animatic timed within that time as well, or did you just board it?
Yeah, I was timing it as if it was an animatic.
So, yeah, that's really interesting, because I've been using Storyboard Pro for over a decade. I've never timed a single animatic out in it, weirdly.
Oh yeah,
because I think we've talked about this before, because we're both storyboard artists, and you quite like to time your stuff out as you're boarding it, right? And I don't. I kind of I board, and then I usually export it and time it all out in Premiere or something like that. So is that your approach with boarding, that you time it as you go? Or?
Well, for clients, I try to always take it where like I never have to time it. That's pretty nice. I veered closer to like what you do, where like you'll just have the panels done and they're completely untimed. But when there's like dialogue beats and stuff like that, even then I try like to not time it. But when action starts, I know that whatever client I'm usually with, they have confidence in my ability that they think that my cinematic eye for action might be better than their Leica editor. So I'll put my own timing in it just as a base. And almost every time it gets used, maybe it gets tweaked, but it never gets thrown in the garbage. That's for sure. So I'll provide that usually. I'll ask them like, is this something you need or you just want the panels? And they'll usually say, yeah, can you do that for us? And I'll put that into the action process at least. But I've had projects where like, yeah, they try to put that into the terms where, oh, can you just make a timed animatic? And I'm like, okay, well, you want an extra 3-4 days of work, but
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. So any storyboard artist, up and coming storyboard artists, listening to that, no, right? If fair enough, right? If you have to time out a project, fair enough, but make sure they're giving you time to do that. Don't accept the same deadline that you should have to do, like say if it's a 5-week turnaround for an 11-minute or something, whatever it happens to be. If that's what's reasonable for that show for you to storyboard, do not accept, having to do an animatic, timed out animatic within that time as well. Timing takes time. That's why we have editors. So interesting what you said about your process of storyboarding, and with this is that you had a nugget of an idea, and you purposefully wanted to keep it really simple, and what you wrote was bare bone minimal, and then you developed the entire scene, the entire film as beat boards, and then expanded out into storyboards.
Yeah, and to finish the idea of the process, like that 28 days or 29 days was dedicated to making a whole take one of the Leica, and then I selected scenes throughout it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cobble together a trailer for this out of those select scenes. And then I just went and did the full process: animation, cleanup, color, composite. And then I did like my own sample sound and stuff like that. But and that's what made it into the trailer. So it was nice. Like, and so that entire process from sketching at Giuseppe's house to putting that trailer out, that was a total of maybe 3.5 months. And it was such a funny thing. I remember my boss at the time, she was, I love working with her. She said, I sent it to her. I'm like, oh, by the way, this is something I'm working on. And then the next day I saw her and I said, did you see that thing I sent you? She's like, oh yeah, I was mortified. I'm like, why? She's like, to think you're working on something like that outside of work. I don't want you to burn out, because I was directing for her and she thought that like I was just using too much of my artistic fuel to in like a given time. I get her concern, but like I think maybe she didn't understand it from my point of view, where for me to be that good director, I have to be doing like these kind of things in my free time, because this is like my soul food, and that will make me a more like nourished director for you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You gotta, and it's a cyclical thing as well. It's like what you're learning on the pro stuff feeds into your personal stuff. What you learn on what you learn on the personal stuff and the kind of creative nourishment you get then goes back into your passion for your professional, and it's just cycles and cycles around. It's a mistake to think that those two things are just separated off into like two different energy packets or something, and you only have enough for one. Although I think it's also right to worry about burnout. If you are burning, if you're working in like 3 o'clock every morning, then you are gonna burn out. I know I've had periods of immense burnout and stuff as well. But so yeah, great. What I kind of wanted to bring up first of all is I wanted to bring up this little gem, because I don't know, people have probably seen it if they're aware of your YouTube channel. But this was the first thing I ever saw of Nas's, and I think this is about 10 years ago now.
Yeah, that was my portfolio that had made the 2 days before finishing my final book. Oh, sorry, my second book in that year.
Yeah, because Nas has got a trilogy of comics as well.
Yeah, and so when I had finished the second book, I was losing sleep thinking about this portfolio, because when I left animation school, I left prematurely. Like I left after 2 years of drawing, because the third year was 3D. And then I might have mentioned this somewhere online or something, but I told myself, you have 6 months to make your book. If it takes longer than that, then it's irresponsible, because you're supposed to be earning a living right now. So, and I lived with my family at that time. So I hit that 6-month mark, and 2 days before it, like I started like fantasizing about this portfolio, and I was thinking about like what would it be like if Son Goku, the Monkey King, went. The story he helps Tripitaka get to India to find the scrolls of Buddhist wisdom, and then you find out that they're empty. And but I never heard about what happened after that. There's probably lore out there or something, but I always wondered what happened after he left the mountains. So this little project that I created is a portfolio for, and kind of like in a way a proof of concept for what the story would have been. It was called like Return of the Beggar King, because Wukong is supposed to be in my mind like he's a beggar, but he's now like the king of the beggars. He's the best one, And yeah, what you see is what you get, I guess.
Yeah, and I remember I was browsing LinkedIn one day 10 years ago. Oh, I feel it's so long ago now, And but then I saw this, and I'll press play in a minute. You'll see what I mean. But like it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's so short. What is it, like 12 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I'll play it now, and I'll play it with sound as well, so we can, if we don't talk. Okay, this is Return of the Beggar King by Naseer Pasha. So good, man. It brings it, every time I watch it, it just brings it right back.
I haven't seen this in so long. I remember every part of this.
Let's play it again. I love the army thing as well. Oh. Oh man, oh god, it brings back so much memories. It's so good, right? What I love about it, right? What blew me away about it was that, let's just pause it, right? So we got boom, like it's the timing on that, right? It's the boom kind of thing going on there, and then that, and then poof, and then boom in the gut. It just feels like when we used to play Street Fighter together, we were like Street Fighter 4 or 5. And you like Akuma, the way Akuma, like he looks, is he based on Akuma a little bit? The design
100%.
Yeah, and like just that kind of like that meatiness of the Street Fighter poses when they get like a hard punch, and the way it it goes right through the character, and you can feel oh god, it hurts to look at.
For sure.
It's so good, man. And when I was in a bit of a creative, like the reason I wanted to bring this up, right, is this is how I discovered you. I not not in an agent sense, but how I learned of the greatness of Naseer Pasha, right? Is this came up, and it just hit, like I felt it, right? I genuinely felt it, and I was in a place where I had been working on kids TV for like a decade or something like that, pushing a decade at that point, and I was pretty creatively bored of it. And so I was looking to go into more interesting, like a more actiony or more cinematic type work. And then when I saw this, I was like, look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. He's just doing it. He's kind of creating his own, whatever it is that he wants to do, he's just doing it, right? And I think the power of this as well, the other reason it really hit me is, look how finished it looks, right? It's only 12 seconds, right? But this is a good, this is something I could try and keep in mind, but fail constantly to act on, is if you can produce something that's really, really short, but really, really polished. To me, when I watch this, it's like, oh, so there's a film coming to this then, is it? It's like, it feels like it implies there's so much more than there is. You're seeing a snippet, a perfect snippet of something that looks complete, even though it's not. And of course, then there's the danger of like, if people really, really like it and they start nagging you for like the full film, and you're never gonna did that happen? Did anyone like nag you about the full film or anything?
Oh, plenty.
Yeah. So there's the cautionary tale in doing something so brilliant, is that people will want you to do more of it.
Well, I mean, in a way, maybe you could say this kind of evolved into legend, because if you even look at Son Goku's outfit, the kanji that's on it says food, and that's the same one that I used on Goku's one in the movie.
In terms of the visual design, you've got Akuma. Wasn't this? I'm sure this guy was based on someone. The Monkey King. The costume. I mean,
the costume. No, it's not based off of anything. I mean,
Okay.
in
Yeah,
terms of
that makes sense.
other than Dragon Ball, because it's got the colors and that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But it being a hoodie is just more of a like, you know, you think about like beggars in the street covering the face.
Mhm.
The beads is kind of like a Buddhist, like in a Kuma style bead thing.
Mhm.
But it's saying food on his gi. It was more because, you know, like that's the one thing he wants. He wants food, right? But that kind of bled into my other thing with Legend. So I
Yeah.
want to like, at least keep that much in there. And even like Vegeta here, he's supposed to be a king. The monkeys, if it wasn't clear, is based off of Vegeta.
Mhm.
So I went ahead and made him a king instead of a prince in like the new one. And I think you can like, I mean, my drawings, like sometimes I wonder like, did they ever really improve? Like you ever get that feeling? You're like,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
5 years later, like, did I actually get any better?
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe some of the weight and heaviness and bulkiness of
Mm. Oh, man.
Vegeta's mass in this Beggar King one, I've translated into Broly's design into
Yeah.
in Legend.
It is, man. It's just watch it. That one, like that, those two there, the gut punch in the palm on with the Akuma character, the boom, boom, like oh my god. And I saw that. I've seen like the little bit of video reference you had for this, which is like just a little quick clip. But man, like you took. I think what's really good there is I could see how you pick out just like this is what I do with reference as well. Is you don't slavishly follow the reference. You film the reference and then you kind of note the nuances and the things that really work, and then you just amplify them and focus in on them, right?
Yeah, and even the angle of the reference doesn't matter at that point.
No,
because sure you can film it at an angle, like if there's some things that are a little unclear, like especially with like flips and stuff like that. But if you just know what's happening, like oh, face and hands are supposed to be close together, elbow is extending from body, reaching the other person's face. Like if you can like note these things, you can probably draw it at any angle if you had enough training. And at that point, you do have enough training. Like if you've gone through like animation school or whatever.
Yep.
So
well,
yeah,
depends what animation's cool. Not if you go to one in the UK. But yeah, I just wanted to show that because that's like it's just a special moment for me, and it's just it led on to me. I think I contacted you on LinkedIn. It was the first time I contacted you, and I think I was probably gushing in the comments about it, and then I just thought, no, I need to gush directly to him, so I contacted you.
So we were talking earlier before we started recording about. I said that one of the nice byproducts of Legend was that I got to make a few small friendships. So the byproduct of this one was I made friendship with you. You were maybe like the only person like I actually like made a friend out of as a byproduct of this at that time, which was, and it's like it's 10 years ago and it's an actual friendship. You know what I mean? It's not just someone you know on the internet. So yeah, man, it was worth it. Like even if this didn't get me a job, which it did, that alone would have been worth it. Like
oh, this one got you a job as well, did it?
Yeah, actually, the day I had finished the portfolio, I had 2 interviews, and it's a funny story. Like I had, people talk about imposter syndrome and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, go on, man. Yeah, I could talk for hours about imposter syndrome.
Okay, so I don't really like. I don't feel that. Like, and so like, oh, am I supposed to be
lucky
here?
dog? You're lucky dog.
But it comes with a caveat. So I don't feel that in the way where like, do I feel like I'm qualified to do this? Or I'm with all these other great people. Like, am I supposed to like level up? I can only be as good as I was ever when you hired me. I just keep trying to get better. So obviously, you keep that in your head and you try to keep all the demons out. But the only type of imposter syndrome I did ever experience was during this. Is my expectation was that once you finish your portfolio, you're trying to get into animation, like just from the get-go, you're gonna have months and months of applying, you're gonna get nothing, and eventually maybe after 8 months to a year you're gonna have to settle for like an internship somewhere. You're gonna do it for a few months and then you're gonna eventually try to get yourself into that studio because of your exemplary performance that you exhibit when you're there, right? And what that really comes down to is you just have to keep applying and you have to perform your optimal way if you're going to get any form of job, paid or not paid. And that's going to be your job security. That's going to ensure that you actually get a gig. But the imposter syndrome that I felt was that because like I had offers so soon and then I accepted one by the end of the week, I'm like, it wasn't supposed to be this way. It was supposed to be harder. Yeah, like did I like is this like
right, I get what you mean, right?
Is this a big trick on me? Like is this like someone's just going to take it away from me? It's like, oh, oops. By the way, that's not how it works. Give it back. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, they're gonna catch you out on the first week. you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I
So,
think that's the imposter syndrome thing as well, is that like you always think you're going to get caught out, right? You think you're not, okay, somehow I've tricked them into giving me a job, and they're going to catch me out at any moment, sort of thing. But yeah, it's great, man. It still packs a punch, and I love it. And you can see like it's so you as well, you know, like it's distinctively Nas, you know, the way you draw, the way you keep everything nice and loose, like not, well, I wouldn't say loose. I don't think it's loose. I think it's really, really well constructed and defined. But there's an energy and a roughness to like the line work and everything that still carries right the way through to final. Keeps it really lively.
I'm glad it reads that way. Thank you, man. It's like
Yeah.
a great compliment.
I'm gonna play the storyboard now. So, and we can kind of like, I guess, just talk over it and stop at certain moments or whatever. So yeah, talk about then, like, okay, for you then, right? Because and this is a distinction I think is important, right? When you're working on your own project that you're going to animate versus a professional project that someone else has to take over from you. Where do you draw the line? Like what parameters do you put on yourself to take, like how far do you take the boards on a personal project, knowing that you're the one that has to translate that rough drawing into the next stage versus, you know, handing it over to someone else who doesn't have your shorthand? Like,
yeah. So like if it's a question of effort's the same for both of them. But if it's in terms of polish, the client always gets greater polish from me. When it's working for myself, and if it's working for my own project, but I'm also the one who has to take the next step, it allows me to be looser at each step, so that it actually ends up throwing the responsibility further down the line every time. But if it goes up to animation cleanup, it's okay to do that, I think. So I'll be super loose with my boards, but not my framing. So I'm doing one thing good there, but I'm sacrificing one thing so that I can keep up the pace. And then when I go to rough animation, framing's good. Boards are super loose, so they basically get thrown in the garbage except for their timing. And then I'll redraw all of them, but I get to be super loose as long as my cleanup does what my loose animation doesn't do. And so like I won't go as far as drawing certain muscle groups. I won't even do like in between sometimes, because I know my in between rough is going to end up looking clean enough to be a clean. So I'll just save it. So then there'll be like stuff like that. So as long as animation cleanup, that's the category that picks up all the loose ends and like all the little shortcuts that I was taking, and doesn't happen anywhere after that where I'm trying to do color or composite or anything like that, then we're in a good spot. And you have that maximum benefit when you're working for yourself. Like I knew, okay, so with Legend, just to say offhandedly, like I originally wanted it to be something that I animated with my friends, but as I got closer to the end of the boards, like I got really excited with the thought of like treating it like masterclass animation for myself, because it's obviously choreographed in a way of things that only I want to see the way I want to see it. So like certain things like borrow from like Ranma or Dragon Ball Z, or like all sorts of things that I loved growing up. And so it was playtime for me. Like it was me being greedy, saying, "Oh, I can't give any of these shots away. Like I just want to animate them." And even my friend Walt, like he was begging me, he's like, "Please, you have to give me this one cut. It's a sword cut," because the original sword cut, which you've seen, is how I did it. And we were just in a video call one day. He's like, "But what if you did?" And then he just showed me like super chicken scratchy in a way that he would have did it. And I'm like, "Fuck, man, Walt, that is so far superior to what I did. Let me think about it." And then like as I was thinking about it, like I started getting ideas from the idea he made. I'm like, I can't give it away, and like I had to do it by myself. And then I ended up doing that. So that's my long answer to what you want.
No, it's great, man. That's sort of answers I'm looking for, man. It's great. Because when I'm drawing for myself, it's like my first. So here's a question then, right? So what we're looking at here, is this a second drawing? Like, you know, this animatic that we're looking at, did you have like an even chicken scratchier drawing underneath this as like your Uber, what I call a Uber filth rough?
No, these are take ones, and
these are take ones.
Yeah.
Wow. To get this motion down in a first drawing is these are first drawings, and like you never went over them, you went back and forth and never changed.
Yeah.
That's
28
great.
days, remember?
yeah. Oh man, I tell you what though, it's really impressive that, and when you say 28 days, you mean 28 days in the evenings. Or were you
like
on it full time? Yeah, yeah. So it's not 28 days then, even, right? It's like 16 or
oh yeah,
something.
that's a
Really.
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm massively impressed with hearing that then is just the amount of creativity on display in this boarding pass. Like there's so much variety in the shots, the actions, the animations. You play the playfulness. Look at this right now. What a perfect moment to display that. Look how playful that is. And the bit where just a moment ago where he was like he does like a Sonic Hedgehog spin and
Yeah.
teleports and does all this stuff. And I can see like, okay, the drawings are rough and loose and everything, but man, the energy and the key posing and everything is, to me, like fully readable. And like I was saying, it's the creativity, it's the variety of great shot choices and action and everything that's happening here to do it so quickly. I mean, you're living this obviously because you're a huge Dragon Ball Z fan and you're a huge anime fan, and this stuff has probably been cooking around in your head in one form or another in daydreams for like 20 years or something, right?
Yeah. You're working before the project starts,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people
yeah.
think that like, oh, you have to be putting a certain amount of hours a day to get progress, but your progress is when you're waiting on a train and you're figuring out problems. Your progress is when you're taking a shower and you can't wait to get to your desk because you figured out how Goku's hair is supposed to animate in another scene.
Yeah,
that stuff.
The shower is always the one as well, isn't it? It's like, shit, I can't write anything down while I'm in the shower, or on the toilet or something. But yeah, like, so I'm hearing it was done that quickly. I'm just massively impressed. But yeah, like I said, it's clear that this is 20 years of passion that's been boiling inside of you, and now you've given yourself permission to let it come out, and boy, did it come out, And that then the great thing about that is because that passion and energy is so clearly evident in this foundational storyboard, that it then, like, your foundations are strong, and so now you're just going to build upon that over these animation and to final passes. And so you've got all of that energy is just going to like seep upwards, and for as long as you can sustain it. I mean, it's impressive that you were able to sustain that over the 4-year period it took you to animate and color and everything. Let me ask that then, jumping ahead a bit, but did you hit any points of burnout or anything in that process?
Not even once.
Wow, nice.
And it was probably like the most miraculous discovery I had, and like, not to be like treated as the same as it being a fluke, is that I never experienced burnout or even the thought of exhaustion with this, because my excitement was just so high, and it was really only as a result of being limited on how many hours I could work on it in a day or a week.
Right.
Because I'm at work, I'm losing time in transit, and then eventually, like during the years, like I was working at home too. But even in that case, like, so I'm saving on that transit time, 2 hours a day. Like, okay, that's great. That becomes legend time. But then there's, I got married, and, like, we're starting our life, we're building our life together. So like, there's things that happen that it takes time. So that time has to be ripped from somewhere. So it has to be ripped from your hobby time. It can't be taken away from your career time. Usually you shouldn't be taken from your sleep time or your time you spend with your wife, or like all this sort of stuff. So knowing that I only have a 30-minute stint on a Monday or a 2-hour stint on a Wednesday night, maybe I'm able to work throughout the entire night on a Friday or something. I was itching to get to my table. And because I was away from the project for those long periods of time in the day, like I said, like, you're working on it when you're thinking about it the whole time. So it wouldn't be me coming to a desk with an empty canvas or an empty sheet of paper being like, wait, what am I going to do today? I already knew what I was going to do. I now had the time to do it, and like my hands would just start moving for 4 years. So, and that maybe that there might be something in there that's a secret to not being burned out, is just limit the amount of time you give yourself to have fun. I went to a trampoline park the other day for the first time in my life. I was jumping on these trampolines. I couldn't believe how tiring it was having fun. Like, it was so fun, and it was so tiring. Like, and they give you like the whole evening. I'm like, I was there for 15 minutes, and I'm like, oh, how old am I getting? So,
nice. There's 2 bits I wanted to call out on this, actually. In terms of, well, there's other bits, but 2 in particular at the moment to start with. So there's where is it? It's my favorite shot in the whole film, or it was my favorite shot in boards anyway. And you've probably, yeah. So where is it? I think it's coming up this one, right? So I'll pause it when I get there. This one.
Yeah,
This. Remember me gushing about this one?
Yeah, that was
I'll leave you go into that as well, because that's just such a payoff. I absolutely love. Hold on, I'm a bit far ahead. Wait, stop. Back. This one. Oh man. Hello. Oh, is that from the other day when I made a note?
It might be.
I've photobombed. Oh man. Okay, let's just let's block that up there. Right. So this shot, I absolutely love this shot, right? Because I mean, like I said, there's so much creativity going on in the shots, and there's so much for you've covered all the bases, right? You've got super like ultra Z space depth type shots. You've got all of the shots you would expect, and then you put a shot like this one in, which isn't the obvious choice for that moment. I don't think. I think it's quite an interesting choice to show that, but it works so well. And what I love about it is it's kind of the camera is sort of fairly casual camera there, right? It's just kind of sitting there about like ladder height or something.
Yeah.
And it's just letting that action play out in the way he banks back and forth there. And I just thought that was a really interesting choice for that moment, and it's just very successful. And even at this rough stage, you can see the motion there is so, I don't know, it's just so well realized. Is that was there any reference for that? Because the action is so nice.
Yeah, so some of it I acted out myself. I obviously can't do flips, but I can fake the timing for a flip. I know how much hang time is supposed to be there, and then what the landing's supposed to look like. So some of that stuff I acted out myself. And then another part of the reference, this has always been my reference just because I never use the internet as much as I should, is that like early parkour stuff, like the EMC monkeys, there's this guy named Zin Sarif. He I've always looked at his stuff. I love referencing him. So I would just look at the ways that he would do his flips. Like what foot would he lead with? Would he dip first with his arms or his head? And like, I was just learning him. I was basically learning him. And he moves the way I feel like I would move if I was that athletic and parkour inept, you know? Oh, sorry. Not inept. I am inept in parkour. Like adept. That's the one, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, so it's a combination of like acting out and then like just learning. So yeah, that's
cool. While we're still on that shot, the camera. Can we talk a little bit about your camera choices and stuff, like how you actually let the camera, because the camera feels very natural in all of this. It feels very much like the camera is like just about catching up to the action. It's not telegraphing any of the action. You're letting everything. What's your approach?
So it's kind of a general approach I do with any sort of fight choreography, is I just ask myself, like, if I was a cameraman, where would I have to stand in the scene to be able to shoot the scene? And like, if I'm really wide, maybe I'm showing more of the environment and I want people to know the environment. If I'm very close, maybe I don't want them to see that sort of stuff. Maybe it's only about the reaction or the expression or the body language of a character. This is a super wide shot. It's 3/4 down, and the perspective changes on the floor. You can see as he moves forward. So his scale and stuff has to change too. So that's what I was thinking about. I boarded it out in wide, and I'm like, I'm going to be following this guy. If I was there, he'd be one league ahead of me. And sometimes like maybe he wouldn't be. And like when I redid the camera work in After Effects, I literally did it frame by frame. Like I wouldn't just make in out positions and do ease in, ease out. It wasn't good enough. Like sometimes the ease in, ease out, it would be too slow or too fast. So I would have to like on 2s and sometimes 1s, I would have to like make sure that the ease was going the way I wanted it, then arc it up, make it have hang time, and then make it fall. Like I was really just trying to make it feel like it was one with him, but not like 1-to-1 in terms of timing. 1-to-1 is like the cameraman is paying attention, like
where
the guy's supposed to go, without it just being like a lazy, like wobbly cam. Like, you know
totally. Yeah, this is another good example. I think the bounce has got a really nice. It's got that same thing, right? Of like you're letting stuff go out of shot, and then you're catching up, and then by the time you've caught up, it's on the way back up, and then the camera is just about catching up again. I think it's good advice for like, you know, if people aren't sure what to do with the camera. I think that's a really good sound principle that covers an awful lot of bases, is that don't let your camera lead the action, let the action lead the camera. And
It's a great
Yeah,
one.
just think about it, like Nas said, like if you were filming this, you can't predict where that character, you can anticipate, but you can't predict perfectly where that actor is going to end up, right? So you've got the camera, and so imagine like if you're trying to catch up, there is a bit of that. There's a like an overshoot that happens every time someone is moving forward. They're going to get ahead of camera, and then you're going to catch up, and it'll swing and like overshoot a bit as that character slows down. Yutaka Nakamura is the master of this, like in his choreography. I think if you study his stuff, he does a really good job of this kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
But
this scene that you have on your screen in specific, like this was a very, very hard one to time the way I wanted, because I wasn't trying to show it up, down, up, down. I was trying to switch the focus. Like when Broly gets slammed to the ground, the focus is on Broly's body, but then it's not like I'm just trying to like pan up to show Vegeta now. I'm moving my head up to see where is Vegeta. Oh, he's there, and he hits him again, and you see Broly go down, because like now you're paying attention to Broly, but like, wait, where did Vegeta go? So like now you like turn your head up, and like when you turn your head up, maybe you don't just stop your head, like maybe you have a drift in your head, because like, you know what I mean? Like I try to think about it a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even at this stage, it's really successful. And I think all of this stuff is refined. The posing is especially fantastic in this scene. When we look at the animation, I love the poses. I didn't pick any. A lot of it, like because they move so fast, you don't pick it out when you're just watching it. It's like, but when you go through frame by frame, you really start to see like those excellent posing choices and everything. This is another thing I want to ask you about here, right? So I think I know I've got my explanation for this moment, right? So and it's really again emphasized and works so much better even in the final animation, right? So I want to talk about the 180 here, right?
Yeah,
we got a 180 break here. What was your thinking behind this? Was this an intentional 180 break? Was it something you just didn't care about, or was there a reason for this?
I liked it. Well, okay, so I like breaking my axis a lot whenever it's tasteful, and usually it's most tasteful during action. Other times, like if you don't have like elements motivating a camera break, an axis break, it just becomes disorienting sometimes. And other times it's just so obvious. Even if you broke it, like no one will give a shit. But for this one, she's coming from the left, and Broly is actually so Broly is like, I don't know what direction my webcam is showing, but she's actually coming this way at him, but the camera shows it from the other way. Yeah, one is simply like it just looks better at this angle, and so if that's the simple answer, does it look better at this angle? I'll shoot it from that angle, and if it looks better at that angle, is there a reason why it wouldn't work? And honestly, knowing that he's the target and knowing where she's coming from, and she throws her right hand, and you see her right hand connect with his body, and not the left hand because everything's been flipped. That's enough clarity for me to have confidence that no one's going to get confused there. And I like how it looks. Like, and that's usually my litmus. If I like how it looks, I'll just go with it.
The rule of cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a 180 whore for most of the time.
I know.
I'm really strict about it for the most part. And the reason I think this works really well here, right, is because if there's actually a scene earlier that it kind of mirrors as well. This one coming in here, if you look at the way, so Broly's coming in, he's coming in towards them, right, and then there's a bang, and poof, all of that impact follows through, right, because it's a successful hit. What happens here is, and the reason I think the 180 break will swell, because she fails, right? She hits, but there's absolutely no impact to it. And I think this is a great demonstration of what the reason you need to be aware of the 180, like in my opinion, in action, is that you can absolutely kill the energy you've built up between shots. So if you're building action that's moving right to left, in this case, left to right initially, and then you cut and you've got action moving right to left, it does sort of neuter the impact, right? But that worked perfectly in this moment because she's just hit the brick wall and done absolutely nothing to it. So I felt like it actually works really well in that regard.
And from now on, that's the reason I did it. Totally stealing that rule from now on. That's a good observation. Maybe I can like take some sort of credit and say somewhere in my mind that was the reason. But
we could just completely retake that section and you can And you can use that as your reason if you want. Let me find it again. Let me just go to the final. So here she comes, right to left, no, left to right, boom, completely nullified it in the 180. You know, it's like that impact goes nowhere, and that's why I think it works so well. So yeah, but it was something like when I watched it, like I remember when I watched the Animatic for the first time, it was stood out to me because, like I said, I am a bit of a fascist to do with the 180. So yeah, it was really cool to see like how well it actually worked. Because yeah, you can totally break the 180 like deliberately or to great effect, especially if you know, you're trying to disorient as well, or like if you're doing a psychological thriller or something like that, and someone's mental state is not where it should be. Like breaking a 180 constantly will give you that disorientation. Anyway, I'll shut up about that. Oh, where was that taking me then? I was going somewhere else with that. Oh, the Broly thing. I wanted to bring this up, right? I know nothing about Dragon Ball, right? So I remember this is about probably about 4 years ago or something, 3 or 4 years. I remember you showing me the fight, right, where they're fighting, and I'd seen him at this size, right?
Oh,
and then do you remember? Because I know absolutely nothing about Dragon Ball Z, right? This is actually the first episode of Dragon Ball Z I've ever watched to completion, right? All I knew was the Broly normal size, and then when I was watching you do the fight scene, he's enormous, and I thought, oh God, he looks really deep into that. Should I let him know, like, that I think his proportions and volumes are off? And of course, I didn't see the bit where he buffs up and everything. I didn't know he could do that.
Fucking hilarious, man.
Oh man. Yeah, so that's just my complete ignorance of Dragon Ball Z was the reason for that one. But this is fucking great here. Like this is the like first animation pass type thing.
Yeah, this is what I'll like. I won't even tie that up. That was like whatever you see in this pass was as tight as I would ever get before I would send it to myself for cleanup. But you would never be able to work like that with a team. Like you need to give them more information.
Oh my God, let's go back to that bit. That's one of my favorite bits. Oh God, where is it? Just past this bit. This is fucking, I love this bit so much, right? The footwork on this. Where is it?
I think it's just after the dash.
Let's do that.
The flips.
Oh God, this as well. I love everything about it, right? So this feels so Ryu from Street Fighter to me. This moment, I don't know if this was like an intentional reference or anything. It just, I love the placement of the camera, and I just love the fact that like every time he punches him, it kind of makes the camera. We can scrub as well. Remember, we can scrub and draw and things. I keep forgetting about that.
This one might not have like any like rumbling
background stuff. Yeah, I'll come back to that in the other version. But let's talk about that groundwork stuff then that I wanted to hear, right? So
yeah, I think the scene you're thinking of is just after he dodges like those green fireballs.
No, it's this bit here. There's a couple of them. There's the bit you're talking about there, but this, right? Look at that. Can you see? Oh my God, I just love it. This stuff here, right? The whole, watch his footwork, right? So he dashes back here, dashes back there, hits the ground, dashes over there, boom, boom. All that kind of like groundwork I really love, and the same in the other section as well, where they're doing the hand-to-hand stuff. Like, what's your kind of what's your approach for choreographing a moment like that? Like, did you know that it was going to be an awful lot of dashing or awful lot of footwork on the ground, and do you kind of plan that out first? Do you work from feet upwards? What's the kind of approach there?
I think like I don't really have like a set approach. What I'd like to do is like, instead of thinking of shot variety, I like to think about like choreography variety. If you think about like Jackie Chan movies and stuff, like he's always got physical jokes and like things that there's always a progression. It's not like a repeat of a chair joke or a repeat of a bar joke. Like he just has interesting things he'll do with a broom that's laying around or a banister or something like that. And so the progression of his stuff isn't about how clever the shot choice is. It just might be a two shot. But for him, like, I just love that, like, his gags, they just, they always build on top of each other and they're not reused. So for me, instead of using the word gag, I'll think about it in terms of, like, footwork. Like, if this was, like, a real fight, like, if Vegeta keeps doing the same thing, he's going to get telegraphed and broken. And I had one purpose in this thing between their fight is he's supposed to be a king and he's taking him on one-on-one, but all he has to do is never get grabbed. Because if he gets grabbed, the whole fight is over. Broly's like
Right.
500 pounds heavier than him,
Mhm.
and he's also way stronger. So, but as long as he can stay fast, so to be fast, like you have to like dodge a lot. You have to be able to like get your person off guard, be in front of them and behind them at the same time, almost. So
Mm.
that's kind of like my idea with this zigzag motions like
Oh,
that.
that's
You
great.
can't do in real life so easily. So that's something to be able. It's fun to be able to play with.
Yeah.
So
It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. Like that bit there, you know, with the V towards the bottom left of frame. You get
thanks.
to it again now. It'll come again. Boom, 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 boom. That bit. Oh man, it's so good.
Thanks. And you'd never see it without the effects. It's too fast for the camera to even catch. So
Yeah.
like my way to, because like again, you don't want to telegraph it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the camera work does sharpen just a little bit more in the final. But I liked the board timing, but like I was able to do a little bit more with that. And with the completed effects, like if you don't see his body do it completely, like you'll see the effect do it.
But here's a great example of what we were talking about earlier about letting the camera, like the action is driving the camera, right? So the action just went up to the left, the camera's drifted, and now he's dashed down to the right, so the camera's gonna, and then he's gone. He's off shot. This is what we're talking about, right? It's like you couldn't catch up with that. You couldn't anticipate it, because if you can anticipate it, it's predictable. It's no good in the fight. The whole point of the fight is that he's moving unpredictably. So now we catch up, and then by the time we've caught up, he's gone again, right? He's gone again. It's great. I love it. I love it. And I love the way you draw this as well. I love how I love the level you take the drawing to make all of this action work at this point. Like, is this like first pass rough? Is this tie down in places, or?
For me, like this is a first pass rough, but I actually cut out the entire tie down process, and it became I went right to cleanup for every one of these scenes, because my cleanup style is a little bit more sketchy and loose. It's not so sketchy, but like it has more of an organic line compared to like your vector line cleanup. So if I was tying it down, to be honest, like the amount of attention I pay to a tie down is the same attention I pay to a cleanup.
Right.
So yeah.
Let's go to that in a bit, a minute.
You know, we were talking about like him dashing off of camera and the camera catching up. You gave me a compliment like years ago that I'll never forget. You said like, you're not scared to lose your characters.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
And I'll never forget it, man. Like it's not something I was actively trying to be like, oh, that's my style. Like I'm just gonna be the person who like makes sure like you're disoriented or like you don't know where things are. Like it's just it's a byproduct of just the way I do things. But for you to notice something like that and it being, I guess, consistent throughout the project, I'm glad that's something that's showing.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, it's so effective, and if you look at so much, it's definitely more. I think they've gone a little too far in a lot of modern anime. Personally, for my sensibilities, I mean, our influences are more from like 90s anime, right? 80s and 90s anime for me, and when you look at the kind of action in those films, it is much more grounded. It's more realistic. They still had the flair and everything, but it wasn't like abstract. But I find a lot of modern anime is, I guess, it's a progression from like some like FLCL or like Soul. What was it called? Soul Taker? Is that what it's called?
Soul Eater.
Soul Eater, was it? And then you look at then the direction that Gainax went, and the things like Gurren Lagann with who the Studio Trigger, right? Prome and all that kind of stuff, right? There's the exaggeration keeps stacking up and stacking up and stacking up, and the abstraction keeps stacking up and stacking up, and it's beautiful. But I find an awful lot of time with modern anime, I watch it, I don't know what I'm looking at half the time, you know.
I think also it comes down to like something as simple as space. Like there's never like a clear indication of like how much physical space there is between people, because like you have like your rushing floors and like all these sorts of like sakuga like orgies. Like, you know what I mean? So like you're giving me too many pieces of candy. Like I can't enjoy all of it. Like it's gonna get stuffed and like eventually pass out from a sugar rush. So there's like no ebb and flow a lot of the times. With like a lot of modern stuff, we only get the flow, so it's all rushing out. So with this, there's a good balance of ebb and flow for sure.
Yeah, so this is like really good groundwork here as well, right? When she lands, and again, it's you're like, fuck it, I'm cutting the feet off. We don't need to see them, right? Because you don't need to see feet all the time. I think like again, both of us are coming from a place of being really influenced by, kung fu films when we were younger as well. And there's a beauty in their staging that was they would just shoot the fight, right? They wouldn't cut that much. And when you watch Western, a lot of Western action films, it was cut all the time. But with the Hong Kong stuff, it was more like, they'd hold the shot for like 10 seconds or two because they were fighters and they could actually fight. And so you just let the fight happen on the camera and do it. Let's just keeping up with them just about like that. And I think, you don't have to show feet all the time, but like Groundwork is what you've got here is a nice variety, I think, of like kind of not having the feet being in close for that intimacy on the fists. And then when you pull out, when they're doing the feet are moving about here, you're allowing enough framing to show that. And it's really solid groundwork. Like if you look at, so bam, 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 we don't need to see the feet here, right? It's not about the feet, it's about the hands. And then we ease out in a moment once we get a little, that's just fun, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just a nod back to the classic DBC.
Yeah, like completely held poses, like, and then now he's on the ground, so now it's like really solid groundwork on the floor, and then bam, back into the air, and I really like that. That's a nice section.
Thanks, man.
So this is this was like your first the first pass animation. And then let's get a comparison then to see how this looks with, I did want to ask one more thing, sorry, and I can't, it was about the storyboarding. Oh yeah, like you mentioned when we were I think when we were talking about this section over here, that like you had changed the timings and things from the storyboard. You had, how much, once you've done your animatic, you've got your storyboard, you've worked your animatic out, how much room do you allow yourself then when you're developing this as an animation to expand or contract the timings and things like that?
Every time like you want to make one little change, it affects every department. So if you've already started to make your edit, making one timing change, now your edit file has to be changed. If you're already in composite, one timing change, now it makes that file different. So you have to do a new composite, and the composite has to go into the edit. So they trickle down like a single change. So the change has to be worth your time. So there were things in Goku's transformation where I'm like, I need 4 frames. It's such a small ask, but it has to be there. And then there were things in that sword fight scene where it was a retake. And then I remember like sound had already started, and like, because I was pretty locked at one point, but then that sword retake thing was just something I'm like, oh man, it has to be this way. And I go to David, I'm like, David, you're gonna hate me, but and then he's like, no, it's okay, don't worry. And I would have to make sure how many frames it had, what side of it was like, was it the head of it that was 10 frames more, or was it the tail that was 10 frames more? And then I would have to give him like matchups so that his audio files wouldn't get screwed up, because he's working on his computer independently just with the raw footage, and then I'm working on my thing in Premiere on my edit. So I allowed it for wherever it was necessary. In the boards, like I was maybe 95% to like where I wanted to be in terms of timing and like what was there. But in the original boards, like even when Goku transforms, if you look at it, like there's no fighting between him and Broly. All he does is punch Broly in the face. Like there's none of that rolling on the ground like a monkey. There's
in the boards, you mean?
Yeah, there's no hurricane kick from his tail.
Whereabouts did that mean?
It'd be just after he transforms. So like maybe
after Broly transforms?
After Goku transforms.
Oh, Goku, sorry. Yeah. I was just trying to get the comparison up, and it looks like one of the videos broke on upload, unfortunately. So I'll have to find another way to do that in a minute. We'll be fine. So after this, is it?
Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean now, the bit that's coming up, yeah.
So yeah, this part of the board was never in it, ever. These scenes. Originally, he transformed, and he rushes Broly just with the scene that's right after that.
Mm-hmm.
He rushes him with that, and he hits him with one punch. It was supposed
That's
to
the bit I was talking about. That's the bit I was talking about earlier with the foot. Okay.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that was it. And like I'm like, I need something here. It was just something that occurred to me way later. And then also when Broly transformed, I never had his face showing on camera. I'm like, I think I need his face. Like after he does that transformation, you need to see the villainous look in his face. And I had added that cut. Like it's not in the Leica either. So those changes, like if this was a budget, like if there was a budget in this, those would be expensive changes. Adding like all these like little things, getting someone to animate it, getting an editor to time it, now redo the sound. But if you're working for yourself, as long as like if you're teaming up with something, if they have the same kind of patience that you have, then it's usually worth it. For me, it was worth it and necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Like when I was going through it, because I was trying to edit the boards earlier, and when I was going through each of them, the boards, the animation, and then the final. Yeah, there's like the bit where spelled that really cheeky shot that we'll get to in a minute, with the 9,000 bit. That isn't even in the animation; it's only in the final.
Yeah.
So let me compare these two animation versions here. Yeah, there we go. So on the left is the earlier version, and the right is like the upgraded version. And
so the left is rough animation, the right is my cleanup.
Yeah, so then let me zoom in a bit. There we go. So the bit where with the sword was the biggest change I could see between these two versions. Like, it's so cool to see, like, how, okay, so there's your first pass, and there's your this is your cleanup. It's so solid, man, the cleanup. But it's still, look at how many like rough lines you still allow yourself in the shading and stuff as well.
Yeah, and some of it's like done on paper, like even the cleanup. So like that one that you were saying that over, like that Broly one, that was cleaned up on paper.
Yeah, I wanted to come to that as well. Tell me about this then, right? Because I this kind of stuff and it's even more prominent in the final one, where I've got very little idea about effects animation. I haven't studied it very much. I need to, but like there's a bit here now where he's doing his transformation, which is monstrous and just brief, and then bang, it just goes into this super abstract, like kind of, where is it? Like kind of impact frame type business, like oh man, I mean, I don't know, talk me through like when you, because this is still the animation, but you felt it was so important that you actually needed to do that with color at this moment to make it work. So
it was like something like I learned in Dragon Ball Z, where when Vegeta or Goku, when they would turn Super Saiyan, there would be a light flash around the rim of their body. And it was really just a flash frame. It was a stylized, maybe 4 or 5 flash frames, but like it became like something that I really liked. And I call it like latent energy, where it's like when you see someone screaming, you get to see what they're doing. They're screaming, their body's physicality, all this stuff. But when they do that charge up in that moment where it's black, it's almost like you're seeing their soul for a second. So like the rage in their face, and like his eyes are just beady dots. It happens all through it when Vegeta and Goku do a power up together. When Vegeta powers up for his sword, it even, I like left a joke in there. It says "murder" on the screen, like right near his face, and like his teeth are just like, they're huge.
This bit?
And it's in a different scene. It's with Vegeta when he pulls out his power sword. But
okay, right.
But yeah, like, and when he sees Goku transform, when Broly sees Goku transform, that was probably my favorite one. I did this thing with the eyes where the light goes up his face, but then the eyes disappear last. Yeah, you'll probably see it on the right side, on the clean one.
That's the stunning shot. I love that. Savior from Heaven one. So is it coming up here now?
Yeah, it's just in the black area.
Oh, this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I had added like a few extra frames towards the end. Like I just needed a few more drawings. So I think in the final version, like you might see like it dissipate maybe even 2 more frames.
Right. Oh God, so good. Yeah, it's just really interesting to me, like that idea of going from a pencil drawing into like a moment that. Oh yeah, that was the other thing we need to show here, isn't it? The sword, the differences in the sword. So yeah, here's the 2 different versions of the sword. Yeah, so Vegeta's sword is different here. So on the left, we've got the old version, and then on the right was like, nah, that's not enough.
Yeah.
So is that in response to what you were saying earlier about?
Yeah, but my friend Walt, he called it the ultimate Saiyan weapon, and when he called it that, I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. And he had this cool idea where like Vegeta like screams and it like apparates in front of him, and he grabs it and does like this zigzag thing and slashes it towards camera. And I'm like, that's wicked, but like I'm trying to use this as not a legendary weapon that could slay a king. It's more of like, it's your last effort, your last like lifeline. So it's like him using all his energy in focus into one area, and if this doesn't work, he's out of juice. And that's actually why after he cuts his arm off, he looks so tired before he gets strangled.
Right. Yeah, this whole like cutting off the arm business is great as well. It's another fantastic example of really solid groundwork and everything here as well, and the flow as well, right? I love the like the arcs you've got going on here. So boom, 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 great, boom, off comes the arm, and then the next. Why is this bit not syncing up? I don't get it. Here we go, and then into the cut into that, then literally and then camera wise, boom, cut, and then the flow and like that big arc that the thing is doing there is just like it's such a lovely continuity between the two shots.
And that was a difficult choice to make. Do I want to focus on the pain in his face or his arm when he was like
both.
Arm off? Because like I have all the art there, so I just ended up saying no. It's better in the face. Just stay with his face the whole time.
Yes, I see you saying. So you were actually thinking about maybe even framing that differently, so you were focused on the arm rather than the face. I think you kind of have your cake and eat it here. I think it's quite successful. You get both of them in quite nicely. I definitely get a strong read on both of them, you know. So nice. That is such a cool boom.
So I acted that out like a dork in front of my wife over and over.
What, the arm chop?
His sword work. How he's like doing all this stuff on the floor. She's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I thought you said you had work today. I'm like,
Yeah. Filming reference is always something you like generally don't want to do in front of anyone, right?
I think that would have been helpful if I filmed it. I didn't film it. I just kept acting it out and making little thumb notes and like, oh, foot goes back this way, pivot. Lean back, step. Like I kept saying this kind of stuff, and like maybe I should have just recorded myself. It would have been easier.
Yeah. This stuff's exciting. I love this. Oh God, look at that. The poses here, man. So he's like this animal, and then boom, he comes in. Boom. Let's talk about like frames and stuff then, right? In terms of like how long you choose to hold things for how long for any given circumstance. You know, have you got like a baseline that you use, like say generally you're on 2s and then you use a healthy dose of 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, or you use 3s? Like what's your kind of baseline, and then what are your parameters you usually give yourself? Right?
Yeah, my base is 3s. I try to stick to 3s and 4s as much as possible. I use 4s, 5s, and limited 6s on settles, but I use 3s as my base. Obviously, there's 2s in there. Lip sync, I don't care about it being on 2s or 1s or anything like that. I'll use lip shapes that look right whenever I need to. But they're typically also like on 2s, 3s, and 4s because I don't enunciate for every syllable. It just looks a little too flappy. So and then I'll throw in 1s like when I do like punches and stuff. Like I like the impact to stick, so I'll shoot the impact on like a 3 or a 4, but I'll speed up just like something's moving as fast as just before it makes impact. So the frame before that 4 will be a 1. And then if I'm trying to like make something settle out, it'll go to a 3 to a 4 to a 5. So the time is actually increasing per frame, even as the drawing is slowing out too. So you get like a double sort of feeling of that sort of settle. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this expression, the dough expression. Oh, I absolutely love that. It's so good. I love that expression. It makes me laugh every single time I see it.
And this is another one that I got to do on paper from start to end, except for the color, obviously.
So this here then, right? So this is an example. I'm going to pause this now when we get to this impact, right? So if I just start it there, and then we'll do it after she hits the wall. So much like anticipation, so much build up and impact on that, right? So frame count wise, right, when we get to like that, then that's the moment there, right? Like that's what you're talking about there, and let's count the frames then, right? So we're coming in, he's on, that's one frame, but it's the pose is held. It's just the follow through on the cloak that's happening there, right? And then that's held, and it's like it's like a kind of the pressurization that keeps happening from.
I think about it like a spring. Just think about it like a spring, and then it's gonna blast off. So the tighter it's getting, like it's just getting slower and slower and slower until it gets to its fastest speed, right? So it's kind of like that too.
You got all that, and then we've got when it actually finally releases, it's 1, 2, and she's gone.
Yeah.
92 frames into she's gone. And then we follow that through to go bam, and again it's that same like fast in hit the wall. I love the artwork, the color here. That's probably my favorite shot color wise. This one, the wall and everything. Is that Mike doing that?
That one was me.
I love all the color work and everything. I mean, I could do another video all about the color, like. But did you rough the majority of this digital? The majority of this out digitally and then clean up on paper and then scan back in, or where is the ratio there?
I think maybe about 45 shots I roughed on paper and then scanned them for timing digitally. And then sometimes I would just do the tie down. Like there's just things missing. So I would just like time up a little bit. And then that would be the pass. And then whether I did that as a digital cleanup or I printed them out and then I would clean them up on paper, it would, like I would have to take it shot by shot. I think I cleaned up maybe 30 shots on paper. I definitely did like a lot of it on paper. It was just my excuse to like be in the living room where my wife was. Like I didn't want to be in the office. So like getting to work on like a little light pad with paper, like it was nice not to be in front of a computer all the time.
Abstraction. I wanted to ask you about abstraction, right? So there's some, I'll go to the final for this because I think it's super clear and everything, right? So let's jump to, there's a few moments that stood out to me when I was going through this. Oh, actually, before I do that, I have to call out this beautiful Easter egg. Oh my God. Holy shit. I landed straight on it, right? I don't know if anyone's, unless you've gone through this frame, but I certainly didn't notice this when I watched it full speed. I can see it now. Every time I can see it now. But man, we got ribs. We got a whole, look at that, right? Actually, I did see the ribs. I didn't see this bit, right? This is wild as well. Like I love the kind of like almost Chun-Li or E Honda sort of like 1,000 hand slap thing here, and then you go bam! Look at that. I mean, it's one frame. Oh my God, you fucking maniac!
And the idea is like you're not supposed to see it, but you're supposed to feel it. You know?
Yeah. But it's such a beautiful image, and it's like one frame. I love the audacity of that. And it's back. It does come back for a second out in, and then I love the settle on that. And if we actually, it is really nice. And then we got the broken ribs and everything. I think everyone was going wild, and I love this idea that he's knocking him in and out of Super Saiyan. Is that something? Is that like lore accurate or anything? Or
no, that never happens in the show. Ever.
Such a good idea. I love it. I love that idea.
I don't think it happens ever.
But yeah, God, so it's actually really nice in the animation as well. Let's see if I can hit the. Is that it? Yeah, that's roughly it, right? Coming up now, right?
Yeah, it's just right around.
There we go.
Yeah, so when I animated on paper, I didn't have the skeleton in it, so you can see the skeleton's digital.
It's this version, I think. It's got the really nice pencil drawing of it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's a beautiful drawing. I love it. And again, one frame. Just flashes on. Oh, that ribs breaking, man. Pain. This I could do this for every single shot. Right, abstraction I was going to get to, wasn't I? Before I got distracted by ribs, which is understandable. Yeah, even right at the beginning here, where what's the lady's name?
Chichi.
Chichi. There, this shot. Yeah, this is it. Right? I think it's this one. Yeah. Look at this shit, right? So look at that. Man, you got nasty hands. I look at it, it's bonkers, like how all these smear frames and everything. I really like these when they're used sparingly and used effectively. So what do you have, like, what's your parameters? What's your thinking to do with, like, when's it okay to use that stuff?
Smears like you feeling it too. Like I don't necessarily need you to see it too much. Sometimes there's types of like animation where like maybe you just want them to see like the distortion more, so you shoot them for longer. But you notice like some of these hand parries and stuff like that, they'll start abstract, but they'll go to solid form.
And
totally. Maybe they're partially abstract, but they're mostly solid. So it's always like a latent feeling. Like these are things that you want people to feel in the back of their mind not like
Right.
necessarily like, be able to know. And also, I don't like motion blur in 2D animation. So I like to draw the motion blur. So I'm thinking about it like it's blurring.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. It also always puts me in mind of like SNK fighting games, like Last Blade 2 or something like that. Is if you look at the like they're doing a strike like this, there'll be this in for like 1 frame or 2 frames or something. There's this like rainbow of you know, arcing pixels that like this that create this massive thing that the impact of it is fantastic. The read on you, it completely describes the arc of the action and everything, and then it's gone.
Yeah, SNK games are like notorious for that. It's awesome.
No, let's jump to this. This is the cheekiest shot in the whole thing, I think, personally. It's absolutely hilarious. So it goes to here, and then it goes up. So this was the shot that's not even in this bit here. It's just cheeky,
so this was like
cheeky.
based off of me and my friend went out for bubble tea one night. The friend is actually the voice of Broly. His name's Jason. And I was telling him like I had this idea, like what if Vegeta had like a power, like a, you know, like the only thing I never did in the thing, there was a nod to Dragon Ball Z, was like, what's his power level? Like they always have a scouting the power level before the fight starts. And he's like, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if he was reading his power level from like the ship, or he said something, and he's like, oh, what if he said like it was over 9,000? And I'm like, oh, his joke was he sees the power level go to 9,000, he says, huh, that's pretty high. And then he turns off his scouter. And I like the idea of the joke. I wouldn't have delivered it the same way because it was like too on the nose for me. So I could never forget the idea. It was 2 years before I had finished Legend. I could never forget this idea. Like maybe if there's some odd way that I could have like a fun with it later. Like no. I kept burying the idea. I'm like, there's not enough time to do it. Like I have enough to do. But literally like 2 months before I was done the project, I'm like, wait a minute. It wouldn't be even that much drawing. Most of the work is in the UI. Stepping the numbers. So then I'm like, and I just did. I'm like, David, you're gonna hate me, my sound guy. I'm like, yeah, I got to do one more. He's like, and when he saw it, he's like, okay, I understand. He's like, normally this like yeah, like we're at the our end of our timeline, but like this is such a sick shot. I have to do sound design for it. And actually, in my documentary, I highlight this exact area where he was doing the sound design for it. He just blasted it out of the park, and like I was trying to use like more of like an Evangelion type UI. Like this is not even Evangelion, but this is what I was thinking of. Like when I was thinking of designing this, so people would make the joke, "Oh, it's the most detailed scouter I've ever seen." Yeah, I guess so, because it comes from an Evangelion. But yeah, it was just a bunch of manual work. It was super easy to do. It was fun. Just a lot of layered stuff.
Yeah, I just love the tease around the 1,000. You know, it's like it's just there, and then it kind of goes back. Ding, 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 ding. Actually, let's put the sound on. Ding, 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 ding.
He delivered that one perfectly because I told him like how it has to be timed. It has to be like din, 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 din. Like it has to like ramp up in speed as like it can't just be like 9,000 then 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so yeah, and everyone makes me know like they love this part. So
yeah, it's just like it's the perfect encapsulation kind of like the hype that's happening in this moment. You know, it's like you know, it cracked me up when I saw it. And I don't. All I know, actually, one of the only things I know about Dragon Ball Z is it's over 9,000. That's the only. Yeah, that's the only thing I know, right?
And it's funny because when it gets to the end, you know how it like malfunctions. When I was talking to Jason, I'm like, originally it's supposed to say legend, and then but I changed it to say error eventually because he's like, no man, change it back to legend. It's like think about it. He's so strong that even the scouter has to say he's a legend. I'm like, what? So then I went for both of them. I put dashes, it says legend, it says error right at the end for a second, and it cracks by saying like danger on the screen.
Yeah, it's great. I love it because I mean you just get the joke, right? Even if you don't know anything about DBZ, because like weirdly, even though I'm a 90s anime guy, like a lot of my favorite animes from the 90s, I just completely I don't know how, but it just completely when it just disappeared. I didn't see it. It wasn't there. I think it was played on this was, mind you, in the early 90s. I'm not sure if DBZ is early or mid 90s or whatever, but in the UK anyway, it was pretty much just anime was on VHS that you would rent from video stores or buy from video stores. But there was only really about like like less than 10 titles when I first started getting into it. They were available, and then that slowly grew. Like Manga Entertainment was the company, but like Dragon Ball Z was on TV, and my friend watched it because his parents had like Sky TV, which is, you know, like the equivalent of cable in the UK, and so they had more channels, and so Dragon Ball Z was playing on TV. So I guess that was probably the reason why I never saw it, because I didn't have Sky as a kid and a teenager. And we had four channels. We had four channels on the television.
There's a similar thing with us. Like, long story short, like we had basic cable that didn't have like specialty channels, and there was one channel called Teletoon that at midnight they would show Dragon Ball Z, but for like a month they were giving it away for free for everyone on Rogers cable. So they were showing Ghost in the Shell, Wings of Anima, Ninja Scroll, and they would have this anime block, and one of it was Dragon Ball Z, and I was watching it for a month. I'm like, oh man. But then eventually, like, our regular networks here, I guess, got like so popular within like a year or two from it being on Teletoon that it was on like YTV here. So we got like our edited like Canadian version of it.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing as well. It's like so many of the versions that we saw as kids and teenagers were edited. Like, God, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. You know, I don't know if you ever saw the Warriors of the Wind version of that. Oh my, it's like they cut about 40 minutes out of it or something, you know. But of course, you don't know that the first time you see it, but you do when you finally see the proper thing. Are there any specific bits you'd like to go through, Naz?
I mean, I definitely had like favorite shots. My two of my most favorite shots was the sword part. It was because like I like how crazy it was, but there's just like little things in it where I would just try to sneak in what I was saying, like latent frames. Like if you see where he pulls his hand up to his face and he charges up one last time, if you see what happens with his face, that part I think is. So this frame right here, I just like sneak in like little things where it says murder on the screen because he's just so mad. All he can think about is killing.
Nice. Murder with an A as well.
Yeah.
Even more angry. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I love that stuff. It's the reason I appreciate that stuff so much is like I don't know how to do it. You know, it isn't something I've spent any time really trying to work out how to do, because I guess it's not something I've had to do an awful lot of. But when I see it and when you go through frame by frame, it's like, God, it's incredible the impact it has. Like, you went to black for a frame, and then it's like little abstract squiggles, and it just all kind of just works.
So that was one area that I really like doing. Another part is where Goku spits out his fire. That's probably one of my favorite parts.
Around here?
Yeah. So actually, if you frame by frame through here, like his hand, when it opens in the original take, nothing happens to the ground. But in that take, it's an imprint of his hand in the ground.
Where is it? Sorry.
So if you look at the floor.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, nice. But it's bigger than him, right? So is that like implying kind of that his energy is bigger than himself or something like that? Or?
Yeah. Did you ever see Kung Fu Hustle?
Yes.
The Buddha palm that he.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I was looking for something more subtle, and I was like really looking for like very direct contact with the ground, not a massive like impact. Yeah, that's great.
I like that. Like if you look at the light in his chest, like I had to paint that manually with an airbrush to make it's not like a lighting effect or anything. Like I had to paint it so that it rises up from his chest up into his throat.
Oh man, so subtle. But I mean, you do read it, but you definitely read it more. And then it blasts, he like folds back in over his head, doesn't it?
Yeah, and these frames on his head, these ones I really liked drawing. They're just custom drawings, like right on top of the fire.
Oh God.
These are like more latent frames. Like these are like really stylized. Those were probably like my best latent frames in the film.
They're so abstract, and they're so seemingly like not connected to what was going before in a way, like just momentarily at least. How do you decide what to do for those moments? Like, how is it just, are you just having fun? Are you just being expressive and you just let that lead? Or is there kind of an actual like logical process behind it?
I mean, my logic would first be to figure out what color mood it should have, like whether it's a cool or like a hot one. But for me, it's about motion. So like the fire came out of his mouth but blasted backwards. So that's why there's like a huge diagonal streak through all of it. And that diagonal streak was like the essence of like the drawing. And then after that, like I just have fun.
Right. I do love how expressive all that stuff is, though.
Thanks, man.
Oh God, that shot.
Oh, and this is maybe a funny one to talk about. So people noticed like the camera jitter the entire film, because that's supposed to be like into like real film after years of like going through a heat projector, that it gets like warped on the edges. So like your film's always going to shake like when you review it. But if you look like the shake of the camera, the sub, okay, so the
I'll loop it now.
Yeah, the text actually moves with it during the pan up, which was so difficult to do because like, these are digital cameras you're working with, right? So I'm panning up. I also need it to move left and right and like follow the jitter. And I need the text not to be panning. The text has to be on spot.
Right.
So like it was complicated how I had to layer it. I figured out an easier way to do it way later, but like
didn't you put the text on top? Wouldn't have made it a bit easier?
But if I put it on top, it won't move. Because
you want it to be influenced by I got it right. Yeah. And then you have to like recompensate for that.
For all like the moving, it has to be completely in sync. And because like the footage itself is shaking, but the camera is also panning up. But then that's fine. But then when you have to put the text on top of it, well, the text isn't moving, but now the text has to shake. So I don't know, like it got really complicated. And even the text "Savior from Heaven" in English, originally I had applied all the motion keys to all the subtitles in my film. They were moving perfectly in sync with everything. But then I started to think, this was literally a month before I finished the film. I was like, wait a minute, like subtitles is a digital process. It's not actually part of the movie. And I looked back at all like such like Dragon Ball or Guyver or whatever it was, and like exactly what I expected. Images moving, but the subtitles won't move because they're added afterwards. So I had to undo that for all the subtitles.
Oh man.
So, yeah,
that's dedication to authenticity right there.
Yeah.
My God. Oh, this is wild as well. Seeing this in color now compared to let's do a side-by-side comparison. Oh God, look at this, man. It looks so meaty, man, in color, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
It's like the whole like the atmosphere, like the way you bring the light down here, like everything into these like darker kind of like purples and stuff. And then you've got him ignited against it. And that reads flipping brilliant, doesn't it? With the boom, I love that, and the push on the ground. That's a bit I was talking about earlier. It's just great. I like the kind of I don't know. I never noticed that before. Broly does a spin. I never noticed that. So that's Broly doing like a Sonic the Hedgehog move there as well.
Yeah.
Right? And he moves. Yeah, I think there's these. I don't know if are these intentional. There's a few callbacks to different shots from earlier in the films. It feels like, you know, you're repeating. Yeah. Like the bit with Kimichi or whatever her name was earlier, that felt like a callback to the one when she gets hit a bit earlier, like she's coming in, but it's like a nullified version of that. And then you've got the top-down shot here, which is a kind of callback to. It seems like a callback to Vegeta slamming Broly into the ground, and now you've got the top-down of Goku hitting Broly downwards. Like it feels like a kind of a. It felt like callback to me in it.
There's definitely like some like overlap there. I'm trying to get like in terms of like the pain or like what he's going through, like that choreography. Yeah, there's a link there.
Boom.
Broly stuff is funny because what's on the left is the clean version of like my animation, but I had to constantly cut his arm off in these scenes because I forgot that his arm got cut off. Because it was like such large periods of like when I would start to clean up. Because when I originally had it, like I just sketched it with both hands there. So like there's so many scenes where like my spreadsheet was cut off Broly's arm, cut off Broly's arm. Even the scene where he slams him down right here, my second last take when it's fully composited, he had two arms. I'm like, do I just leave it there or should I cut it off? And I'm like, maybe I should just leave it there. It's my movie. Do whatever the hell I want. You were like, but that won't make sense. But and fucking what, right? So, but then.
So wait, are you saying that like? But in the which stage are you talking about there? Because it is drawn.
Yeah, I think
cut
like if
off.
you look at the rough version of this,
Okay.
it's probably around here. You'd see it.
Oh yeah, it
Two
is.
arms here.
He's a crab.
And yeah. And then even forward from here onward, like I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
2 arms there. And then when he does his fireball, he has 2 arms.
Right. This was added as well, wasn't it? It wasn't in the boards.
Yeah, no, this is an idea I knew I just wanted to do from the beginning, but it was after I had started the project. So I just told myself to rewind and make sure to throw that in there.
Yeah, that was the first shot initially, wasn't it, in the storyboard?
Yeah.
They must sat on the throne. That's Vegeta's father, right? That's not Vegeta.
That's Vegeta's dad, yeah.
Yeah. There he is, the little. He's always doing that, you little dude, isn't
he? Yeah. And did you notice Yoshitsune from my book is in it?
Yes, I did. Yeah. That's crazy. Everyone should read that, by the way. It's great. Yeah, the Blackfish himself.
I think still like visually, my favorite shot is actually the shot of the wall with the poster on it. There's just something about that scene I just think looks exactly how I want. Like everything looks the way I wanted it to, but like that one specifically, like it blew my expectations about how like such a simple shot could look good.
I bet there's shitloads of stuff hidden in there, isn't there?
Yeah, like I mean the whole crew is in that shot.
Nice.
This one's fielded for widescreen, but like if you go a little bit bigger, like you'll see more of them. My sister's there. My wife's in that shot. That one where she absorbs the shot just before, where she runs in. That one was kind of cool in the final, where I got to do I did a dolly zoom on it.
Yes, you did.
It was probably like it was one of like maybe 3 spots in the film where I did that. That's probably the only one you'd actually notice it in.
What is the current? What's your current like software setup? What are your main go-to?
I do paper and TV Paint for animation, and same with cleanup and color. And then I do Photoshop for backgrounds. But I'll probably be working more in Clip Studio from now on. And then I use After Effects for comp, and I use Premiere for edit to like put it all together.
I love this shot. Oh, this is another one as well. Like that, like this is bonkers, right? The amount of levels of build-up that you pile on top of this moment. So you've got like, okay, physical effects, flames, raw, back up again. Yeah. Like it's like this rocket is about to go off, you know?
Yeah.
Then, there it is. You're a little tight. Are you a little tighter there on the final than you are in the animatic?
Yeah, I would say so. Like there's just some things like because like the timing in the animatic for some because like, you don't have like in between frames and stuff like that, so you really get to work with the keys. So your position keys for your camera are like pretty good, but because that's from Storyboard Pro. But like when you actually get the rest of it in, you get improvements to your drawing, and there's certain things you want to showcase a little bit better. So the After Effects, like just frame by frame keyframing the camera, it works really well with that case.
Oh, the camera's done in After Effects.
Yeah, I do like I work in wide, and then I do all my camera.
Oh yeah, I know you work in wide. I thought I had assumed you did the camera in TV Paint as well.
No, it's awful for that. It's so
is it?
bad.
Oh, never. Here's something. There's a bit I really love as well in terms of abstraction. Like this is pretty wild, right? I think it's quite wild. Like to go from that, like in your head. So with the cameras, cameras whipping around there, right? To like 180, like almost 180 sort of thing.
It's like a 180.
It's really interesting. That, like this bit here, right? This.
What's happening is like the camera is looking at Broly on the left, and then it pivots to the right. But it actually there's so much space between both of them that the cameraman's backing up away from who's right in camera. But so it gains on him, so he's further away from camera, and then he catches up with the camera. And
oh, nice. Yeah. It works really well, you know. But it's like it's so abstract. I love again all this this raw paint you've got going on here. Is just I absolutely love this shot in terms of color. That's just a beautiful motion, and I love how he gets really ragged there, doesn't he? Like I love that, you know, the distortion happening there. It's so nice. You can use these sort of this. Oh yeah, so we were talking about this earlier. We were talking about the camera on this one. So that background makes all the difference to the shot, doesn't it?
It really does.
Motion, boom, 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 boom,
day
boom,
one.
boom.
I was gonna do
Right.
it that way because I was
Mhm.
influenced by a really cool scene I seen in Cowboy Bebop the movie, which
Okay.
for some reason I didn't actually go back to look at. Like I just remembered what it looked like, but I remembered it wrong, and
Right.
this is what I remembered it being like.
Okay.
But all it was the guy punched him in the stomach, and it was the other way too. Like he punched him from the other, but like, and it didn't even look like this. But I was like, these things leave lasting feelings in your head. So
Mhm.
like, yeah. So like, I knew I wanted to start top down and then pivot upward during like the best parts of the punch, and then the
Mhm.
last punch I added like a dolly zoom on the background where it pulls back, but you won't be able to see it well because of how much screen space his body takes up.
Right. Let's go through that frame by frame then.
And that painting is painted by hand by Mike. He did that on paper.
Nice. Oh, lovely. Yeah, he was showing me a couple of them. He was sending me them over Discord, showing me the stuff he'd done on that. I think that was one of them, actually, one of the ones he showed me.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the jump between there as well. This is what I love, right? Look, the amount of like so many frames of, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you jump from that to that. It's like boom. Yeah, the camera is fantastic here. It really does work, and it just felt like he's starting to go upwards.
Yeah.
This is a fucking amazing shot as well. Love the moment. Look, the swing on this thing, right? Let's take it all away. Take it all the way to there. Boom. Whap. Boom. Boom. That again, so playful. You had a lot of fun doing this, didn't you? Right? I know you did.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what the explosion is. I hadn't looked at that. There's a bit there where there's like a sonic boom type effect.
Yeah, he's like you becoming like a jet.
Right, it's him. Yeah. And also, yeah, I know I wanted to talk about this, but the actual poses he does here. So when he's slamming him into the ground, like down he goes, and then up he comes. I love the blinking out for a frame or two as well.
Nice.
And then bam. So that's a. You think he's gonna punch him? He kicks him, right?
Yeah.
Is it a kick? Yeah, it is. It's like the kick comes through. That's a lovely pose. And then boom, when he does another flash. Double axe handle. You next. That's great. And then just take it straight into red. Pick purples and reds. Lovely. How long ago did you finish the actual animation? How long did the color take?
The whole animation, the rough stuff, took me a year to finish. Okay, no. It took basically 1 year, and it took me an entire extra year to clean it up. And it took me another year to color it and cell color it and do effects. And then the last year was dedicated to composite, extra effects, sound work, which was actually started earlier, and then just like final image. So I was working in like the most opportune possible pipeline that can't ever exist usually in studio because it just isn't cost effective. But I was literally getting to finish one department's worth of work, do the next. That department's done, do the next. Because I didn't have anyone to like look for like any other work. So
yeah, because usually you have to overlap those departments, right?
Yeah. This was a fun shot too, where Goku hears screaming because the background warps as like, a result of like.
Oh shit! I had never noticed that. There's stuff going on in the background there. That's great. Oh man, that's fucking great. I hadn't noticed that. See, the thing is, it's like it's the same thing with all of the abstractions and everything, and all these little details that you miss them, but you don't.
Yeah, like I think
you feel them, you know. Yeah, you feel them, but you don't see them. It's like it's an accumulative stacking effect of all of that effort and detail and passion that goes into it. It just all stacks up to make it so much better, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it's there until you go through frame by frame, and then you start picking stuff up.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to the point of focal point. Like, if the scene's about what Goku's body language is, then we should be mostly paying attention to that. Maybe you'll notice the background, but maybe you should be really feeling the background.
Oh, I love that. Oh god, there's a bit coming up here I absolutely love as well. Surprise, surprise. It's coming up in a minute now. It's Broly's like final blast that he does.
Ooh.
The green one. Oh my god. I mean, they're all green, but it's particularly green, isn't it? It's a beaut. This, oh my god, this fucking section is so bloody good, right? Now again, it's the effects thing as well. I think I'm very impressed by effects.
Surprised you like the effects so much, because I'm not an effects artist either. Like this was like I was saying, this was like master class for me. So like trying whatever I felt like.
Yeah, so let's watch this through a couple of times. Like look at all these, like you had inverted frames there.
Yeah.
God, that shot, the angle of that shot is this is a great shot. Look at that. All that like pose is fantastic. Oh god. And yeah, there's so much going on in this, right? Let's go through it. Right, so boom, we're pushing in. Like why did you decide to do that there? Like what?
Oh, like the inverted thing? It's supposed to be a nod back to the original where he'll put his hand out and like the colors will change as the energy's coming to it. It's not exactly like this, but it's similar. Yeah.
Okay. It's just, I love all the flashing on and stuff. It's all I think is really nice.
Oh, thanks.
And again, look, bloody full white frame, full black frame, full white frame, you know, and then back to crazy abstraction, and then boom, from nothing to that impact, like to it's the exaggeration, it's the I just love it. It's so good.
Did you notice the big face in the fireball?
Yes, I did. It's like a Halloween face, right?
Yeah.
There they go. There it is. Yeah.
And when he's losing the battle, actually, because of the way the light is,
it's sad.
Yeah, it gets like sad. It's like, but
there's
don't really notice it.
Yeah, there's a bit coming up as well when he dies. I want to ask you about that, like super contorted head he does. It's just extreme. Oh man.
So that's a Street Fighter reference there for sure.
Mm-hmm. This bit, holy shit! That's just bonkers, man. Like the amount of distortion on that. It does remind me of something I might see in something like a Studio Trigger, something or other, like a Kill la Kill or something maybe. What was you thinking there then? You just wanted to push it to like a like absolutely insane level of distortion?
Yeah, that's the base. And like also when Cell died originally in Dragon Ball Z, his face was just like all over the place. I never ended back looking back at it. It might have been smart to look back at it, but I know what the colors looked like at that time, and I remember his face just going really crazy. But they were holding it a lot longer. It was less snappy. And apparently Broly, when he dies, something similar happens too, and I forgot about it completely. But that was kind of like the inspiration for that. But the visual look for it, like I'm imagining, like even though it doesn't look like this, like Bao the Visitor, 1987, like when like their heads would like get grabbed and like their heads would just like melt and explode and stuff. It was just so ultra violent. Like that's what I was going for.
Yeah, I recently rewatched what's it called? Fist of the North Star, you know?
Oh, nice.
And oh boy.
Definitely in that realm.
Yeah. So it's just extreme, like head pops and stuff, man. And there we have this beautiful. There's a beautiful shot here with this one. Love that. Oh my god, I love this shot.
Thanks. I had the great ambition, though I didn't do it, was that I was actually gonna paint this on celluloid, the whole, because it's only like 6 frames, but one frame takes like fucking like 3 hours to do.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what, like just finish the
Yeah, because I was going to ask you.
Yeah, if you want to do it, it's super fun later. But like,
yeah, I was going to ask that actually, because I remember you. I think you either did it on live stream or you showed me a photo or maybe a bit of video that you did a cell, didn't you? Like as just a bit of fun or something. Have you got it handy?
Yeah, I still have it. Like it's just for fun. It was a Chichi scene that you liked.
Yeah, and yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I mean that when we were talking about that Akira book that's coming out that's got cells in it and everything. God, it just, you got to think of that as well with the old animation. Like they used to paint on fucking plastic, you know? Just so carefully and delicately, and Unbelievable. Like we,
anyone have been that good?
I know.
And they had to do it an ungodly amount for a
Yeah.
shitty TV show. So even the crappiest
Yeah.
cartoon you can think of from the 80s or the 70s is so beyond the amount of talent people have on average that like you have no choice but to respect it. It's crazy.
But man, like, thanks so much for spending the time doing this. Like I said, I could easily go on for another 4 hours, but we've been going now. We're almost at 2 hours now, so we probably better wrap it up. But yeah, thanks so much for sharing the earlier versions with me and for letting me show the Beggar King as well. And I think, like, bringing it full circle back to that, I think the impact like that had on me when I saw it, and they spurred me forward to, to better myself and to push my career in a different direction. It was the right time. Like, I needed something like that. It was a reminder that you just need to do it. You just need to do this shit. And I think Legend only came out a couple of months ago, and we have no idea like the wave of influence that seeing it might have on people. Like, you can't quantify that yet. And I genuinely believe that there will be innumerable people who have seen it, who will have been so galvanized by the energy and the passion in the project that you will have spawned, a whole army of creatives to, like, they might not, not go and make Dragon Ball Z films, but you'll have inspired them to get up and do something and to just push themselves further. Like, the amount of energy in it, the amount of passion and genuine energy in it, I think is clear for everyone to see. And I genuinely think that's why it's done so well, and the hype was so high around it. You can see in the live streamers, the videos, the reactions, even the guy you talked to, the interview, the fantastic interview you had. There's so much passion, obviously, for Dragon Ball Z, but people recognize in what you've done the authenticity of the passion and the energy. And I don't think you can quantify the influence of that yet. So I think that's just a big thank you, basically, for like putting all that effort into it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I think, like, for me, I got what I needed out of it. Like, it trained me to be a better animator. It increased my cinematic eye or whatever, and it's led to whatever sort of opportunities or friendships that I was hoping for. But at the very least and most, I suppose, like, if it can like jumpstart other people to just take their own projects seriously, like, that's the best thing. Like, and just for them maybe to have in the back of their mind, like, it doesn't have to be done fast. Like, and maybe Legend would have taken maybe a year and a half for me to finish if I wasn't doing any work.
Full time. And also, it doesn't have to be 10 minutes, right? Like, that's quite 10 minutes is a pretty big thing to do on a solo project like you. So I mean, I know you had help on certain aspects of it, but generally it was you doing the main heavy lifting. That's a big like for keyframe animation to 2D, maybe not so much for CG, because the in-betweens come cheaper for 3D, but like to do a 10-minute, and it wasn't originally intended to be 10 minutes. Was it the original Animatic was about 6 minutes, I believe, right?
Yeah, it maybe even just a little less than that, but I just kept thinking, like, I need something more, and if I'm gonna do this, it's got to be exactly what I want it to be. It can't be just a version of what I wanted. Like, this is my chance, right? So yeah,
great. Well, thanks a lot for spending the time tonight with us, and for sharing everything, and good luck. And we look forward to, obviously, the whatever magic you and Stray Dog put out in the future.
hell yeah, dude.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thank you.